Bear Academy.
When he wakes, Koji finds himself lying on something dry and soft. A bed is a bed, he thinks to himself, even one that smells of mold and dust, and especially after sleeping in cold mud all night. There are no lights hanging from the ceiling, but the soft, warm light of a lamp fills the room. Simple furnishings, non-existent decor. Koji realizes that he's in Ogai's cabin, in the bedroom that he searched before Fuminori pushed him into the well. You awake? Ryoko is sitting in a chair against the wall, her expression blank as she studies the pile of documents on the table in front of her. She must have brought them up from Ogai's underground lab. She turns a page, then takes a bite from the sandwich in her free hand. If you feel up to eating, there's food over there. Okay, the birds are chirping really loud there, I gotta close the window. Okay. Oh, first recording session after I've not... what the hell am I saying? First recording session after I've overcome my illness, and now... I don't know. Head empty, no thoughts. How did I get here? Koji can't imagine that a woman, even a woman like Ryoko, could have climbed out of the well with him on her back. There was a door behind one of the bookshelves down there, Ryoko mutters, taking care not to let the explanation interfere with her reading or eating. When I finally got it open, it led to the boiler room underneath the cabin. The other side was hidden with a thin layer of mortar. Figured that's how he got most of his supplies down there. Once he had everything he needed, he could seal it up and use the well instead pretty thorough. Was there really something in there that he needed to hide? There used to be. This is the last of it. Having finished the sandwich, Ryoko picks up some unsorted papers with a free hand and waves them in the air. Not all scholars want to get on stage at a... what the hell is that word? A symposium? What the hell is that? And show their research to the world, you know. Some nutcases get their kinks by learning secrets. Kicks, not kinks, oh god damn it. By learning secrets no one else knows, and by being buried with those secrets in hidden tombs that no one will find. Koji still hasn't the slightest idea what Ogai's secret might have been. From what Ryoko said in the tunnel, however, he can guess that Fuminori is somehow involved. What happened to Fuminori? Koji asks desperately, no longer caring who he gets his answers from. What does he have to do with that body down there? Just what is it that you're after? That's what I'm trying to find out, Ryoko replies coldly, as though Koji's concerns are none of hers. Sakisaka told me that he was acting on behalf of one of Ogai's relatives. Yes, he told me the same thing. Oh, well, at least that's consistent. Ryoko pulls several sheets of loose leaf paper from a different file. The truth is that Ogai has no relatives. I thought that Sakisaka was simply lying. However, there was another, possibly I should have considered. He might have been tricked by someone claiming to be Ogai's family. Oh, could it be Saya? Ryoko pauses, then looks sidelong at Koji. Does the name Saya ring a bell? Ah, there we go. Saya? No, who is that? Who or what is the question, but the more I read, the less I understand. She sighs bitterly, then returns her attention to the papers in her hand. All I can say for sure is that it appears to have been the focus of Ogai's research. That was my phone, sorry. If Sakisaka is involved with whatever Saya is, then he's already past the point of no return. The icy certainty in Ryoko's voice sends a chill down Koji's spine. If so, then what will you do? He has to ask, even though he already knows the answer. It's like I said, Ryoko replies, smirking at the tension in Koji's voice. I have no idea how many times I've wished I'd killed Ogai when I had the chance. I won't make the same mistake twice. I mean, yeah, but you're about to make a lot of new ones. If I go to the police, it'll all be over. Ryoko doesn't respond, as though she didn't even hear what Koji just said. Fuminori tried to kill me, Koji continues persistently. If I report him, he'll be arrested and... Ryoko cuts him off harshly. You have witnesses? Proof? What was Sakisaka's motive? You know, Tono, you're completely misunderstanding what the police do. Their job isn't to fight for justice or even to keep people safe. What are you saying? Finding reasonable explanation for unreasonable events. That's what the police are for. They will always choose to believe the simplest, most logical explanation. Yeah, that's kinda true. Just like how water always flows downhill. They aren't interested in the truth. They don't know or care that the truth is often stranger than fiction. They can't all be like that. I won't know until I try. Exactly, Ryoko states, as she pulls another sandwich out of the bag. That's the problem. She hasn't spared Koji a second glance since looking at him earlier. Even while talking, her attention is always focused on the papers in front of her. Let's say you accuse your friend of pushing you into a well. In addition to your statement, the police will consider two alternate versions of the truth. Maybe you're making it all up to frame your friend. Or, even simpler, it was an accident. You fell into the well by yourself, and the shock has made you paranoid or delusional. These three possibilities will compete to see which comes out with the most convincing evidence. No one knows which will be the winner. Are you willing to bet everything you have on your truth? Ugh. Koji has no response. Can he really explain with cold, clear logic what drove Fuminori to do what he did? How can he convince anyone else when he doesn't even understand it himself? And here's the biggest problem, Ryoko says calmly, cutting into Koji's thoughts. While you're raising hell of people, we'll lose our chance to corner Sakisaka. If he sees trouble coming, he'll go into hiding. And then we'll be right back at square one. She paused to take a bite of a sandwich before finishing. Just like when I let Ogai get away. A heavy silence falls upon them, with only the soft rustle of pages turning in Ryoko's hands to mark the passage of time. Please tell me, Doctor, Koji says, his hushed voice breaking through the quiet. What crime is so unforgivable that you're determined to take justice into your own hands? What exactly did Ogai do in that room down there? Once again, Ryoko ignores Koji's question. This time, however, Koji doesn't back down. His silent glare demands her attention as she pours through the documents before her. After some time, Ryoko rearranges the papers in her hands and sets them aside, as though having come to some conclusion. She then turns her chair to face Koji for the first time since he awoke. Listen, Tono, her heart stare belies the calmness of her voice. Or, belies, okay? You need to get out of this while you still can. There are a lot of fine hot springs around here. Go relax and don't return to Tokyo until you're ready to forget any of this ever happened. Forget? Koji feels anger rise within him. Omi was my girlfriend, Fuminori was my best friend, and you're telling me to forget about them? Yeah, forget about them, Ryoko replies, coolly rebuffing Koji's anger. This isn't a suggestion, it's a warning. Whatever they were to you, it's all over now. You'll never see them again, I guarantee it. What about Tsukuba? Koji shouts, unable to control himself. She begged me for help on the phone. Something terrible was happening to her. And how many hours ago was that? Do you know how much time has passed since I saved you? How much longer do you think you would have lasted down there if I hadn't? She shakes her head, then declares coldly, it's too late, she's already dead. Don't expect everyone to be as lucky as you. You heartless, Koji growls, unable to suppress his anger. If you'd found me dead in that well, you wouldn't have thought anything of it, would you? I was prepared for that, of course, Ryoko says with a shrug, unfazed by Koji's ire. I hardly expected to find you alive. It is futile to argue with this woman, Koji realizes. Her values are fundamentally different from his own. Nothing he can say will ever move her. Koji gets out of bed and stands on shaky legs. How long have I been asleep? About half a day. I envy your ability to recover so quickly. It's a privilege of youth, so enjoy while it lasts. Koji looks at his watch and sees that it's 4 in the morning, which means that it was already early evening when Ryoko rescued him. He can't believe that he survived in that well for almost 2 days. Now that the gaps in his memory have been filled and the sense of time has returned, he realizes that it's already Sunday morning, Ryoko's night. A lot of time has passed since he spoke to Yo on the phone. Koji grabs a sports drink and 2 jelly packs from the bag of food that Ryoko brought, then heads for the door. His legs are still a little unsteady, but he can't compensate for that with sheer willpower. Just to make sure, mind telling me where you're going? Tokyo, Koji replies brusquely. His tone is hard as hers. Tsukuba might still be alive. I'm going to save her. You just don't listen, do you? I could say the same about you. Koji is expecting Ryoko to watch him go with that cold mocking smile of hers. Instead, however, she sighs heavily and rests her jaw in her hands. Can't you wait a little longer? Somewhere in here. She thrusts her chin at the mountain of papers in front of her. It's the answer to what this thing called Saya is. I think you should wait until I figure it out and come up with a plan to deal with it. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that maybe Dr. Ogai created her as some sort of a homunculus, maybe? You would think that since you're already convinced that Tsukuba is dead. In truth, Koji is extremely uneasy about going it alone. At the same time, however, he knows that he mustn't depend on Ryoko. She's made it clear that she doesn't care about saving lives. Teaming up with her will only make it more difficult to salvage something, anything, or it's a nightmare. Tono, Ryoko calls just before Koji steps out the door. You almost got killed once already. Don't let it happen again. She picks something up from the table and tosses it to Koji. When Koji catches it, he feels its solid weight fill his hand. Ooh. This is... Koji stares at the menacing shape of cold metal. It's a revolver, the same one that was clenched in Ogre's skeletal fist. It has 4 more shots, there's no safety, so just pull the trigger and fire. How you use it, it's up to you. If Koji were his usual cautious self, he would not hesitate to reject the dangerous offering. The only time you truly need a gun is when all hope is lost. He'd prefer not to fight a losing war. And yet, without ever knowing it, Koji has already set foot into Ryoko's world, choosing instinct over reason. He accepts the small but deadly weapon and stuffs it into his pocket. Just careful, there's no safety on there. There's no question that Koji intends to save Yo and bring Fuminori to answer for his crimes. In the back of his mind, however, he can hear the footsteps of Ruin approaching. When he steps out of the cabin front door, Koji shivers as the wind tears into his skin. To his surprise, the outside air is even colder than the mud at the bottom of the well. Perhaps the cramped space mitigated the cold somewhat. If he had been exposed to this chill all night long, he would have surely frozen to death. Koji finds 2 cars parked in the yard. The smaller car next to him must be Ryuko's. When he sits behind the wheel of his car, he gets some relief from the feeling that he has taken the first step, however small, back into his world. He sips the sports drinks, wetting his parched throat, then washes down some jelly. His stomach rebels at the sudden influx of food after 36 hours on empty, but he manages to force down the urge to vomit. Koji needs the energy, no matter how hard it is. He must regain enough stamina to overcome the challenges ahead. After forcing down as much food as he can handle, Koji leans back in the seat and takes a short break. When he begins to feel like himself again, he reaches into the back seat and pulls the spare cell phone out of his bag. He never expected that carrying 2 phones would be such a stroke of luck. As he calls up Fuminori's number and prepares to hit send, Koji is overcome by a flood of emotion. I mean, why would you call Fuminori? Seriously though, the guy just tried to murder you. Think he's gonna be any friendly with you? Rage, despair, hey, that's me. Sorrow, pity, he's unable to decide what to feel towards his friend. However, there's no time to dwell on the past. Every second lost diminishes the chance of saving Omi and Yo. Koji refuses to consider that it may already be too late. He steels himself and presses the button, then holds the phone to his ear as it rings. The shrill sound seems to go on for longer than it ever has in his life. Right now, Fuminori's phone must be displaying the name of the caller. Koji wonders what his reaction will be when he sees it. The call goes through. In the silence on the other end of the phone, Koji senses surprise, apprehension, and dark fury. Feeling slightly gratified, Koji delivers the first jab. What, weren't expecting a call from a dead man? I'm surprised. How do you manage it? As Koji is about to answer, an idea suddenly comes to him. It was a secret passage in the well, Koji says, a plan forming rapidly in his mind. It led to a hidden underground lab. He pauses to let that sink in. Then, with satisfaction filling his voice, he says, I met Oga and Masahiko. Fuminori's gasp tells Koji that the advantage is his. Keeping his voice bold, he decides to further exaggerate the truth. I know it all. Everything about Saya. You're finished, Fuminori. I've got all the proof I need to blow this thing wide open. You won't even see it coming. Kisama! It's obvious from Fuminori's tone that rage has overwhelmed his reason. Koji's bluff is working perfectly. His victory is tainted, however, as Fuminori's response to the name Saya brings a cry of anguish from the corner of his heart, but still wants to believe his friend can be saved. If Sakisaka is involved with whatever Saya is, Ryoko's words play back in his head, sounding even colder than before. And he's already past the point of no return. He mustn't allow emotion to sway him. Where are Omi and Yo? Koji suddenly switches topics, trying to keep Fuminori off balance. It all comes down to this. Depending on your answer, I might be willing to cut you a deal. If you answer not to cause any more harm, I'll forget about what you did to me, and about what I found at the cabin. I don't want anything more to do with you than Saya anyway. All I want is for Omi and Yo to be safe. Yeah, about that. Omi and Yo. Fuminori's voice trails off. He's obviously trying to decide how far Koji can be trusted, and whether there's room for negotiation. Fuminori has been called out, and now it's time for him to show his hand. I honestly don't know anything about Omi. She never came by my house. Yo, on the other hand, she's kind of a pet in my basement. Fuminori pauses, then gives a knowing chuckle that sends chills up Koji's spine. Well, I wonder if she'll really want to leave. She's with you, isn't she? Koji's relieved to learn Yo's location and that she is at least still alive. Yeah, unfortunately she's still alive. At the same time, however, he remembers that horrifying phone call. It is clear now that Fuminori played some part in Yo's suffering. Had she already fallen into his trap back then? What has happened to her? How is she being treated? Her wish was finally come true, Fuminori says with venomous sarcasm. She's my property now. I guess you and Omi got what you wanted after all. Koji feels despair settle over his soul. How much lower will this man go? Must Fuminori seek out and destroy every memory of the friendship they once shared? Let Tsukuba go. When I'm sure she's safe, I'll destroy everything I have on you and Saya. How can I trust you? First, I want you to... I'm not giving you a choice here, Fuminori. Koji instinctively realizes that it's dangerous to push this bluff any further. I'll call again later. You have until then to make up your mind. He hangs up without waiting for a response. Fuminori doesn't know that Koji is still at the cabin in Tochigi. Right now, he's probably worrying about whether Koji will show up in 1 hour or 1 minute. Koji hopes that he'll be able to take advantage of Fuminori's confusion. 3 hours. That's how long it will take to race all the way back to Tokyo. Koji's afraid that his body won't carry him through such a long drive. His mind is clear, but his limbs still feel half asleep, like they're weighed down with lead. Although he knows that he has to stay resolute, Koji still longs for the peace he had just a few days ago, when life or death struggles were the furthest things from his mind. Back then, he could never have imagined himself fighting to rescue a friend from the clutches of a madman. With each passing moment, he feels himself becoming less like the person he was. When all this is over, will he be able to return to his old life? Or will this change continue until it has consumed him utterly? Time is against him. Every second that passes is wasted. Even so, he decides to allow himself just 5 minutes of weakness. For exactly 5 minutes, he leans against the steering wheel and cries. And when his tears have run dry and his heart is calm, Koji starts up his car and drives away. I stare at the silent phone in my hand. There is anger, of course, but something cold and heavy holds my emotions in check. A sense of danger. To be honest, I'm surprised at how calm I am. Oh, okay. Flashback of Paizuri. Master? Yo looks up at me apprehensively, her head between my thighs. She was attending to my manhood throughout the call. Oh, it's not a flashback. Okay. Perhaps mistaking my silence for annoyance, she desperately rubs her booba against my shaft and attacks the head of my shaft with her tongue. The remaining fragments of her memory seem to have joined together, as she has regained some degree of speech. Upon realizing this last night, Saya began to teach her language once more. I assume she finds our pet's efforts amusing. Don't be mad, Yo will try harder. Still gazing up at me pleadingly, Yo sucks on my schlong without even taking the time to breathe. Her ministrations threaten to fill my head with a white fog of pleasure that would impede my thoughts, and besides, my arousal has already vanished. At first, I consider making her stop. When I gaze into her puppy dog eyes, however, I begin to think differently. Thanks to Saya, I have a family once again. Yeah, you, your wife who looks like a child, and your dog who looks like a woman. For the first time, I am becoming aware of the responsibility that places on me. I am now the head of a new Sakisaka household, as well as its only male member. It is my duty to protect, comfort, and ensure the happiness of the women living under my roof. With that in mind, I know that I mustn't show fear or confusion. That would only cause them distress. Continue. Yes, master. I entrust my manhood to Yo's bright booba, basking in the pleasure with one part of my mind while contemplating our current predicament with the other. It is clear that I made a grave error when I failed to finish Koji off 2 days ago. Right now, I need to set my frustration and anger aside and deal with this problem logically. It's time to leave. I have no way of knowing when Koji escaped from the well, or how much he has learned, or how many people he has had contact with since then. Now that it is impossible to know how far the problem has spread, merely disposing of Koji won't guarantee our safety. When the enemy has poisoned our water supply, you can't take the risk that even one drop might remain. Your only choice is to stop drinking the water. What's up, you gremlin? Fuminori, who are you talking to? Saya returns from the kitchen, where she'd gone in search of a midnight snack. She's munching on her favorite, spare ribs. Nice. Purging myself of unease and impatience, I respond with a casual shrug. It looks like we have a little problem. That bastard Koji's still alive. Oh dear. Oh bother. By breaking the news suddenly and without any trace of anxiety, I am able to avoid frightening Saya. Instead, she is merely surprised. I knew that remaining calm would work. Moreover, I'm currently getting my... Moreover, I'm currently getting my schlong sucked by Yo. It would be hard for anyone to get too serious under these circumstances. Oh, I need to take a sip. Stay hydrated. Saya, it might be best if we leave this house. Saya lowers her eyes and strokes her chin thoughtfully. This is bound to happen sooner or later. Even without Koji, it's only a matter of time before someone reports the Susumi family missing. Yeah, Saya nods. I can tell that she's reluctant to leave, but at least there is no sadness in her expression. Everything will be fine. I'll protect my life with Saya just as I have up until now. I have that power. Knowing that we've overcome one problem fills me with new confidence. By the way, Saya, I'm almost... Huh? Oh, wait. Oh, come on. Really? You gonna give her some yogurt? Saya hastily discards her spare ribs and pushes the still sucking yo off of me. Fuminori, you're never this hard when you make love to me. Well, Oh, okay, yeah. And now it's Saya's turn. Despite her scolding tone, Saya gently and passionately wraps her mouth around my manhood. Lick, kiss, suck. With my orgasm already charged up by Yo, Saya's ravenous tongue and throat push me over the edge instantly. Saya, Come on, give me your... Before Saya finishes, I thrust deep into her throat and unleash my lust as I stare into her eyes wide with surprise. Even while moaning around my schlong, Saya grabs me firmly by the waist and swallows all my seed without choking. Drink it up. Oh, that was good. So greedy, Saya, I say, smiling wryly as I look at Yo, who's lying limply on the floor. Damn. No aftercare? You always keep it all for yourself. Of course, I won't forgive you if you give it to any other woman. After baring her teeth at me grumpily, she burrows her face into my stomach. I'm serious, okay? It's adorable how Saya goes from angry to pleading like this. I find myself reaching down to muss up her hair. Don't worry, I won't. Now then, we better get ready. Okay. We can travel light and take the Susumi family car. I better withdraw everything that's left in my bank account and carry this cash. I also need a weapon, something more reliable than a butcher's knife. Koji will most likely follow. He thinks that Yo can still be saved. However, I'm not abandoning this house just to run away. As long as Koji knows our location, we're stuck on the defensive. Leaving gives me the chance to regain the initiative and deal with him at a place of my choosing. The next time we meet, I'll kill him with my own two hands. I'll make sure to wring every last drop of life out of his body. A shiver runs through me as I anticipate the battle ahead, and my bloodlust burns like an orgasmic fire.
Ultimate Despair Live.